there! You love Contenders China and want to see more of it, or you missed the broadcast and want to catch up on what you missed. Why ever you're here, I'm going to break down all 6 games from week 1 and make sure you get the biggest storylines going into week 2. Let's go! LGD versus Restart. LGD have forever been second best in Chinese contenders, sitting in the shadow of lucky future Zenith for 2 seasons running. With the reigning champions no longer in the competition, this time LGD were coming into Season 3 aiming to finally take the top spot for themselves. However, having lost their main tank line of Gu Shui and Yao Jie, plus their star DPS Eileen, the struggle for LGD was going to be to prove that they are still top tier with their amended roster. Restart, however, are a brand new team. New the team may be, but the players are not. The roster comprises of Overwatch veterans, including B612, formerly Free Feel of the Shanghai Dragons. Here, their game was about using individual experience to surmount the lack of team experience. LGD showed they had so much more confidence and discipline, far outplaying the uncoordinated style that Restart seemed to be showing. Rika's DPS prowess and the focus on dive strategies turned out to be LGD's game plan, while Restart were left a bit confused every time ones would dive in alone and die instantly. It became clear by the end of the series that going forward, Restart were going to have to learn to coordinate if they are to compete. Alter Ego versus Big Time Regal Gaming. BTRG, formerly known as Moss 7 Club, were coming into Season 3 having taken the top spot in the Group B standings of Season 2. However, Group A and Group B had very different reputations last season, so it's possible this title wasn't all too intimidating to brand new team Alter Ego. What did look for sure though, was that BTRG's DPS lineup with Effort and Mask was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and the flexibility that Riven offered to the team would give them lots of compositional options. Alter Ego's team coordination impressed far more than Restart's had, but it sometimes felt like they were one step behind BTRG, for example playing a Doomfist Sombra into a Genji Sombra. The MVPs of the game turned out to be Effort with his unmatched DPS, and AE's King Kong who so aptly played a formidable Winston. Going forward, these will be 2 players to watch for. Team CC versus 666 Legend. Team CC were coming into Season 3 looking like the all-star team of the region. They're Shanghai Dragons Academy team, and this season, their roster was looking stacked. Names include Seo, formerly Five King, Jichiren, who was the non-Gu Shui, and I Eat You Up, who'd come over from playing in Australia to add his DPS skills to the mix. TSL, however, had a rough Season 2. They came second to last in map differential and just didn't look all that competitive. However, drastic improvement has come from this team, having even beaten LGD 3-0 in the recent Land Story Cup. This series could be the start of their redemption arc. When it came to it though, it looked like TSL were just getting outsmarted by Team CC. They made mistakes on Hanamura, but did manage to use comps like Torb Defense or Dotes to successfully stall on other maps. Jichiren was not stepping quite up to the Gu Shui plate, and would sometimes play too aggressively as Reinhardt. However, I Eat You Up Zarya proved a great asset to Team CC. Team CC left the series looking strong, but TSL looked like they needed a bit more leadership in the ranks and an improved level of DPS play. T1W versus Laboratory. Laboratory have come into Season 3 as another one of the unknown brand new teams. T1W have gained the famous Mijia, known for his insane Doomfist, and aim to stomp out this new team to prove their dominance. However, Laboratory had nothing to lose, so for them this was all about coming in, playing their best, and gaining confidence points in the process. It didn't take long for Laboratory to figure out that Mijia was going to be their main target. He was enabled well by his team and helped take Lijiang Tower in the blink of an eye.
No market went over in a blink of an eye, right?
If Laboratory had focused on some other targets too, it seemed that perhaps their counters could have been a bit more effective. Ultimately, Laboratory put up a good fight, and as time passes in the season, they could become a far more challenging team. But T1W will remain to show their dominance and discipline for another game. Lingan Esports versus Zenith of Optimism. Lingan Esports are on their new journey of self-discovery after losing players like Undead amongst others from their roster. Players who could have been a big cause of their success in Season 2. Zoo are also on a journey of self-discovery, but only because they don't know who they are yet. The new team is packed with up-and-coming brand new talent, and no one knew what they would end up bringing out. The fears of LGE's lost players started to subside as Lingza stepped up to the role left by Yveltal, and Cammy's Pharah proved strong against the newcomers. In this goatsless game, it seemed Zoo were getting outplayed. LGE made fast adaptations, and it seemed that Zoo were lacking a distinct understanding of the meta. It was agreed that they had far to come, and their investment in Cloudy just had not been worth it. Lucky Future versus Flag Gaming. These were two teams who had a tank line that needed to be watched. Over, on the side of FG, turned the team around in the past, and now that LF have an all-Korean roster, the communication issues formerly experienced by main tank Sowot would likely be over. However, LF were expected to still require time to synergize, as their performance in the Land Story Cup was less than stellar. LF started off the series by looking dominant, as FG played straight into their hands, but as time went on a bit, FG started forcing their own playstyle onto LF. One player who stood out as an asset to LF was Blackbean, whose flexibility shone through for them. When a tank-heavy composition was required, his switches were always good for them. And that's the story from Contenders China for Week 1. Don't forget to tune into the broadcast this weekend to see everything that goes down in Contenders China, and come back to this channel again next week for a summary of the story then. I'll see you next week.